about the social and rural entrepreneurship. So let's begin with the definition of social entrepreneurship. It refers to all those organizations or businesses who mainly involved in a specific social and environmental causes, which includes both non-profit organization and charities, and of course for profit social enterprises. In case of social enterprises, social entrepreneurs is always differs from traditional entrepreneurs, because after all it makes a difference in the world in their or in their communities. They have their personal experiences with the with all those causes they support. They also inspire their business mission and vision, whereas the traditional businesses measure success in terms of market share or analyze year to year revenue growth. Social entrepreneurs are most likely to focus on measuring the performance indicators like the job created, the tree planted, or any donations made to the charitable arm that ultimately solve the problem they have invested in organizations. So social organization is all about social entrepreneur is all about the organizations or any business who mainly involved in a specific and social and environmental causes. The major elements, the next section are the major elements of social entrepreneurship. The first one is a social mission. That means launching a mission driven businesses, like for example the intention of donating a portion or even whole of their income to the advancement of a charitable cause. It also provides the consumer with a sense that their purchases are contributing to a greater good. The next element is a motivation for social change. It means they offers the opportunities to make a good contribution to the society. It also enhances the quality of life for all those individuals when it exists within that community. It refers the most potential for personal fulfillment. It also includes the autonomy to investigate and develop all those approaches that mainly shows or refer or address the social issues or concern. It also reflect to motivate others to do the same. The next component is a socio-economic value creation. It also integrates the resources, input, process, policies innovatively. It also produces the improvements in the life of the people or to improve the standard of living as a whole. It also focus more on social value rather than focus on the market value for their products or services. And of course, the main aim is to create the wealth in a sustainable manner. It also reflects the long-term social or economic impact. And the next component is a successful implementation of changes. The application of such concept requires the involvement on both micro and macro level. And next would be to implement on an individual level or a social level. Let's consider the breadth, depth, and complexity of the society and their issues so that they can implement a more sustainable policies or strategy in a more systematic scale. As apart from such discussion, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in 2022 defines the social entrepreneurship as a process through which the specific type of actors, the social entrepreneurs who create and develop such an organization, which may be other social enterprises or other types of enterprises or organization, who not only focus on charity or donation but also focus that how they will improve the society as a whole, or to improve the standard the standard of living of the people. And that is exactly called the social entrepreneurship. The next is the overview of the social problems in India. As the organizations were mainly focused to, you can say, to resolve the social problems. So in this section, what are the social problems exist in India? For many decades, India has been striving with a wide range of development issues and social problems. And these issues and problem is not related to poverty but other sectors of the economy. It could be education, unemployment, water and sanitation, its delinquency, environmental issues, livelihood, etc. And it is due to the higher population growth, constantly growing the social and environmental needs, and the limited number of resources. According to the United Nations Development Index in 2022 and in 2020 based, India position was ranked 131 by the agency, and Human Development Index includes the life expectancy, educational achievement, and the per capita income, which not only termed as a human development score collectively to each country, but in this way, the India rank shows that there is a tremendous amount of scope for improvement. And this evidence is sufficient to indicate the social disparity and of course the gap which is exists that to be filled in. And the next parameter is economic growth by itself cannot achieve the development objectives due to the population growth rate, which of course neglect any gains from the economic growth. Social entrepreneurship undoubtedly could be a mean of way out of many to reduce this gap, and it gives the opportunities to all the sections of the society to positively contribute to the development of the society and minimize the gap. At present, there are plenty of social entrepreneurs who have identified the social problems and provided the meaningful solutions. The next section are the essential characteristics of the social entrepreneur or social entrepreneurship. The first one is curiosity. Social entrepreneurs must nurture a sense of curiosity about the people and its and their of course the issues and concern, the problems they face. The best social entrepreneurs totally are those who truly understand the needs and desires of the people they serve. They are, and in fact, they have the social entrepreneurs have to do or have to begin through an impulsive market research and empathy center process through which they would gain knowledge in this field. For example, the founders of Shakti Apparel launched their venture after working with villages in rural areas and India and learning about their lifestyles. So it always worked in such areas so that they should understand about their lifestyles, about their standards of living, etc. The next one is inspiration. In order to design the effective solution, social entrepreneurs must be inspired by all those people and, of course, their problems that they encounter during that process. Inspiration always motivates the action and helps the social entrepreneur to take up the challenge and tackle that challenge, while the others shy away from these addressing their concern or issues. For example, when he learned that his blind friend has no way to tell time, the founder of the Econ set out a mission to design an effective solution to his friend problem. And that is the role of the social entrepreneurs. Next is a resourcefulness. In the world of social entrepreneurship, there are plenty of key resources like human, financial capital. Of course, they are limited in scope, but the successful social entrepreneurs should know how to leverage the resources and make the best use of it at their disposal, and develop the innovative techniques or methods to resolve that hurdles or issues. For example, when he needed capital, the founder of April held a alpaca, you can say, petting zoo at the well-known restaurant bar to raise early stage funds for his venture. The next is it's a pragmatism. It changing the world takes time, effort, and experimentation. As looking up the vision and the mission, the social entrepreneurs work on a social change that gives the plenty of inspirational stories and experienced social entrepreneurs know that they need to take a very little steps or small steps towards the achievement of their goals. A great social ventures are not born overnight. It takes a long years to begin their mission towards the development of the society. For example, the founder of Being As You Wear is working to a reform system that put youth at risk by taking a small step, such as performing a small group education intervention and selling the, you can say, hoodies to fund her work. The next is the adaptability. Social entrepreneurs must remain to open to solution, and it includes that how they should know when to pivot and change their strategies if their initial methods do not succeed. For example, a Celtic girl initially was going to create a platform linking fisheries to chef, but they pivoted to selling sustainable, traceable fish directly to consumers. The next characteristics is openness to collaboration. As the social entrepreneurs need to stay open and attentive to potentially partnership and collaborate, open for the collaborative opportunities as well. In many cases, collaborative opportunities or initiative and joint ventures can achieve the social business goal more effectively than the solo or individual entrepreneurs. For example, Refugee Investment Network partnered with the Village Capital to offer an investment readiness tool designed for the refugee entrepreneurs. And the last one is persistence. Social entrepreneurs should come forward to resolve some of the doubting challenges our society has to offer. It creates a recipe for early stage failures, and the successful social entrepreneurs are the ones who persist the past initial setbacks and preserve to deliver the effective solution of their problems. Experienced social entrepreneurs know how to learn from the failures, and they accordingly adjust their methods, make strategies improvement, and that's why they have said, don't give up if at first you don't succeed. So this is a classification of social entrepreneurship, a comparison-based classification, and the criteria is already shown on the slide. And the three main parameters, that is social color, social constructionist, and the social engineers. When we talk about the market forces, the social color should be the local. In case of the social constructionist is a broader aspect, and in case of the social entrepreneurs is the entire social system involved, like the whole society. Knowledge is a local social needs in case of social color. In case of the social constructionist, that is less less domain specific, and in case of the social entrepreneurs, the highly domain specific. The next one is the resource assess. It is a poor resource assess in case of the social color. And so in case of the social constructionist, with the support of the local community and the high investments involved with the support of the financial institutions of the government, in case of the social engineers. Scope, it could be local, and in case of social color, in case of the social constructionist is a local and international, and in case of the social engineer it look into a global aspect. Scale, it is a small scale enterprises, and the social construction is a small to large scale enterprises and extremely large scale enterprises in case of the social entrepreneurs. Solution would be at a local level in case of the social color. In case of the social constructionist is many different entrepreneurs would come forward and resolve the issues in case of the in constructions of the builder who belong to a real estate constructions builders. But in case of the social entrepreneurs, it always look into a global contest. So that is how we can uh, pursue with this classification a comparison based table. And applicability in terms of they can talk about the contest or contest in case of the constructionist. Examples would be the local training and development or educational services for potential entrepreneurs. In case of the social constructionist is multi-rational services like standardized food and drug assistance programs. But in case of the social engineers, we always look into the global or the international financial training and assistance programs, which mainly target at the specific groups. So the next section is a difference between the social entrepreneurship and the corporate entrepreneurship. So the various bases or the criteria where there's a distinguish between the social entrepreneurship and the corporate entrepreneurship has been framed. So the first criteria is purpose, is to bring the positive social change. But for the corporate entrepreneurship is all about it how they could maximize the wealth at the personal, at the stakeholder levels too. Goal, social entrepreneurs needs to identify and solve the social problems. But in case of the corporate entrepreneurs, it needs to identify the niche markets and need fulfillment. Next is growth. It refers to growth through sustainability. But in case of the corporate enterprises, it also refers to growth but through customer satisfaction only. The next criteria is grounding. It refers to market government incapability to provide the prevailing social problems. But in case of the corporate entrepreneurship, it makes the market more potential. Value creation. The next criteria is the value creation. It refers to a social value, but in case of the corporate entrepreneur, it refers to the economic value. What what are the outcomes while comparing the social and corporate entrepreneurship? In case of the social entrepreneurship, social problems where the entrepreneurs will try to resolve the problems, social problems. But in case of the corporate entrepreneurship, it creates the wealth of the company. Next criteria is the entrepreneur's role. It is a full and direct involvement in all stages, like ideation to implement. But in case of the corporate entrepreneurship, is full and direct involvement at all the stages, is ideation to implement. So both are same in case of entrepreneur's role. Collaboration, it required at all stages, but collaboration may not be required in case of corporate entrepreneurship. The next section is a social entrepreneurship present scenario. According to the Civic Foundation report in 2021, corporate social entrepreneurs are individuals who use their company resources and connection to help others so that they could get access to financial resource services, technology, education, etc. So, as you can see in the present scenario, a growing number of the public social entrepreneurs are leading their cities or institutions towards increased public engagement, and of course with open up a more efficient government services and public private collaboration. That's why the social innovators in Africa, Asia, and America have benefited greatly from the research and development efforts of the social innovation thought leaders. So, according to the CEF Foundation, the top sectors where the social entrepreneurs have much contributed are are in education, economic development, and enterprise development. 17 Sustainable Development Goals, in short SDG, are at the center stage and the worldwide call for action from the wealthy and developing nations. SDG are based on the decades of efforts by the government and United Nations. The division of such goals in the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Welfare. It also aims to provide support and assistance in the form of needy or and in the form of training to those social entrepreneurs who mainly contribute to achieve the sustainable development goals. The 2030 agenda can only become a reality if all stakeholders are actually engaged to take an ownership of all the sustainable development goals and make a commitment to putting them into a action or into a practical use. So, as you can see, the 17 sustainable development goals to transform the world. So, social entrepreneurs can refer to these 17 SDGs and always align the activities accordingly. So, these goals can also be termed as a broad guidelines or the challenges to identify the problems exist in India. So the first goal is a zero poverty. Second, zero hunger. Third, good health and well-being. Fourth, quality education. Gender equality related to clean water and sanitation. Affordable and clean energy. Decent work and economic growth. Industry, innovation and infrastructure. Reduce inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate change, life below water, life on land, peace and justice, strong institution, and partnership to achieve the goals. The next is social entrepreneurship and use cases. So there are a few cases to actually reflect the social entrepreneurship. The case one is a Karo Sambhav. Preshu is a founder of Karo Sambhav, a company that works with producer and brands to came up with the implement transformative, circular, and the extended producer responsibility, that is EPR solution. This particular company is aims to build a local ecosystem to set up a strong solution for Indian wide collection, recycling, and the management of secondary materials for many types of waste such as e-waste, plastic waste, batteries waste, and the glass waste. And this technology platform and system used by the Karo Sambhav, which always helps with good governance, fairness, trust, transparency, and tracking purposes. Apple, Cisco, Dell, HP, Ericsson, Vivo, Oppo, Oxime, you can see Hafile, Toshiba, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Kevin Care, Tetra Pak, Reliance Luminous, Saint Gobain are some of the brands that worked with Karo Sambhav company. And Karo Sambhav works with a wide range of partners such as IFC, ILO, ZIC, WEE Forum, GWMA, it's MITI, MATE, FICC, to co-create the industrial level frameworks and engagement programs that change the people habits over time, and of course it make it possible to collect and recycle the waste on a larger scale in a being as a responsible person. The next section is a rural entrepreneurship. Rural entrepreneurship refers to initiatives and all those activities of the entrepreneurs related to the establishment of industrial and the business units in the rural areas. So it's all about the rural entrepreneurs' mission to open up the new business units or industries units in the rural areas. And that is exactly called the rural entrepreneurship. Rural entrepreneurship is actually more necessary to resolve the problem of poverty, migration, economic disparity, unemployment, underdevelopment in the rural areas and backward regions. And that's why this concept is mainly used for the rural areas or rural India. Rural entrepreneurship concentrate on finding and stimulate the rural entrepreneurial talents, and of course they aims to promote the growth of you can say indigenous enterprises. This concept it reflects the economic value of the rural areas when they introduce the new method of production, new markets, new products in such areas. It also generates the employment opportunities, and of course and that leads to a rural development. In simple words, rural entrepreneurship emerging in rural areas, that's called the rural entrepreneurship. Or in other words, establishing the industries or a new business units in rural areas, that also refers to rural entrepreneurship. This means rural entrepreneurship is synonyms to the rural industrializations. The next section is the types of rural entrepreneurship. The first one is the individual entrepreneurship. The one individual owns the company. So when the individual tends to set up any business taking into an account, they not only take up the business, it also take the benefits, threats with all his resources or her resources. And it could be a special case when the capital can be gathered from the capitalist or the financial companies providing the needed strong business acumen. The next type is a group entrepreneurship. It refers to a small group of individuals who work together to create a business. They totally depends on the abilities or the qualities to build it. And the administration of such a group is more difficult than the solo entrepreneur, because after all they have to share the accountability or unsettled judgment. The next is the cluster formation. Clustering is also the one of the type of the rural entrepreneurship with an exposure to all interconnected and contending institutions. Like, for example, if the substantial number of individuals or activist groups, including NGOs, voluntary organization, self-help groups, communities-based organization, they must participate from different regions and location so that the business can easily form. And the benefits of such a group include the economies of scale. That means it increases the operations of the business, having a strong supply chain, and most importantly a promising basis for sharing the revenue growth with the significant social impact. The next one is cooperatives. It is refers to an independent group of citizens who unite to satisfy the common interest and the requirements within the jointly owned ventures. It consists of both formal and informal activities working towards a shared agenda. For example, the artifact makers, livestock, fishing businesses, the establishment are the fantastic examples of combining the ingenuity and the innovation at the grassroots level so that they can resolve the rural challenges in the commercial manner. The next section are the benefits of the rural entrepreneurship. The first benefit is a reduction in the aqueducts to cities. There is always a lot of debate around the growing population into a cities or migration of people into the cities, searching for their livelihood and creating an unhealthy competition for both resources and opportunities. So sometimes in order to look this concern, the basic amenities are also breaking down, which leads to health and maintenance issues. Next benefit is improving chances for success in rural development initiative. Rural entrepreneurship can be used as a tool so that they can improve the life and infrastructure in rural area. That also true that there is a lot of pressure on the government to implement the new schemes and initiative for the rural India, but it could be very difficult for the schemes to be implemented successfully due to the lack of opportunities in the current situation in rural India. Next is it enhances economic conditions. When local produce, when the local product is consumed, there is a spending and there is more returns to on produce. So with greater surplus income on their hands, poverty level can be reduced in this country. The next benefit is a rural entrepreneurship can become a positive contributor to nation growth. The rates at which the rural market are contributing to the nation GDP is not on par with the industry in urban areas or service industries or export. In fact, there are plenty of rural industries are actually degrowing because of lack of adequate support and opportunities. So if rural entrepreneurship can be promoted more well, it could also add to the economy of the country and it become the second engine of the nation development. It can break down the social stigma. If the rural entrepreneurship is promoted, the basic stigmas and the dogmas can be removed. It is because of with increasing the wealth and access to education and awareness, people will more aware about the basic stigmas and dogmas that have been practiced in villages and the rural areas. One of the main fact is to prove to work as a tool for social reforms needs to increase and just due to the education. Next, a benefit is enhancing the domestic consumption. When there is a pressure on countries to ensure the exports meets the payout at the country level, but it is also equally important to note down if the domestic consumption can be improved, then the people are more capable of buying and consuming enough. And in this way, the company can thrive on domestic consumption itself. Now we can come up to the next section, that is the disadvantages of the rural entrepreneurship. Lacking experience and understanding, there seems to be inefficiency of proper skills. So when there is a lack of proper skills and ability for the business potential within the village community, that could be a disadvantage for the rural entrepreneurs. Lack of funding. The second is lack of funding. Lack of funding where the capital is unquestionable, but somehow it is an integral part of any business. Rural businesses have always been concerned to generate the revenues or funds for their business venture. So due to the lack of the financial choices in the rural India, business are obliged to take the loans from the unregulated lenders who put the higher interest rates. The next disadvantage is the inadequate entrepreneur willingness. The vast majority of rural residents are unsure what would be the best way to approach the corporate world. The next disadvantage is a need for professional knowledge. So the highly polluted areas lack administrative, scientific and commercial enterprises that ultimately leads to a evolution of the entrepreneur spirit, and as a result few individuals are stay away to build a new units. Next is a limited infrastructural amenities. So rural regions are mainly more affected by the lack of infrastructure options such as expressway, supermarket, power, information exchange, processing, storage, etc. Next is unfavorable socio-economic environment. Social structures, cultural ills, religious myths, and other factors, of course, downgrade the development of the inquisitive nature. And of course, the preference for the items manufactured by the multinationals or larger corporation can also matter significantly for the aspiring entrepreneurs. The next is absence of market knowledge. There is a need to have an effective interaction and access to appropriate and also have a reliable location or you can say data to build a trust on such knowledge. The next section is the government actions to promote the rural entrepreneurship. First, the Khadi and Village Industry Commission, KVIC, It has been one of the prominent body inside the unorganized economy to increase the long-term non-farm prospects with a low per capita input. It also increases the career opportunities in rural areas. It carried out the operational operations including skill training, technical exchange, research and development, and so on. Next is a National Small Industry Corporation Limited, in short NSIC. It has been set up as a training and incubation center and also provide a package of service as per the needs. The idea behind this to increase the growth of a micro, small and medium enterprises in the country. The next is organization is the Mahatma Gandhi Institute for Rural Industrialization, in short MGIRI. It endorsed the rural industrialization for long-term livelihoods and letting the KVI segment to cohabit with the main line of these units. Next is a National Council for Vocational Education and Training. In short, we say NCVET. It has been designed as a enveloping skills, you can say supervisor. So automatically there are two extant skill supervisor institutions, the National Skill Development Agency and the National Council for Vocational Training. They merged to provide a comprehensive they are merged to emerge a comprehensive administrative transformation. And NCVET is always entrusted to govern the actions of the undertakings active in technical and vocational education. The next is a National Institute for Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development, that is NIESBUD. It's now a key unit of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship in training, consulting, research and other activities to encourage entrepreneurship and skill-centered development. And the refresher courses for trainers, teachers, management development programs, entrepreneurship cum skill development initiatives as also its key operations. And the next is Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship. It is an autonomous organization that nurtures the entrepreneurialism through instructions, review and other consultancies. It headquartered in Guwahati, Assam. Since 1979, the center has been playing a valuable part in the practice of stimulating entrepreneurship. First as a North Indian regional branch of SIET and eventually it called NISIET in 1984. The Ministry of Industry, Department of SSI and ARI, Government of India transit it into an autonomous institute on, on April 1, 1994 and thereafter in 2007 it was transferred to the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, that's in short MSME. It is currently functional under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship with effect from May 22, 2015. Now the next section is what are the schemes and programs designed to encourage the rural entrepreneurship. First, a scheme for promotion of innovation, rural industries and entrepreneurship, INSPIRE. It aims to assist the network of technology hubs as well as the incubation centers to drive the startups towards excellences in the agro industry or agricultural industry. Next, scheme scheme of fund for the regeneration of traditional industry. The one of the main scheme mainly focus on the artisans into clusters basis or different locational basis or regions basis. The next one is the Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program, in short SVEP. It refers to a Ministry of Rural Development is administrating this particular scheme, a sub-scheme underneath the Deen Dayal, you can say, Antyodaya Yojana, that is National Rural Livelihood Mission. The next the next scheme is Kender of a Community Resource Person Enterprises Promotion, in short CRPEP. It offers an environment for rural venture progress that includes the Community Enterprise Fund for financial assistance and connect to the bank loans. The next scheme is a provision of urban amenities to rural areas. It mainly envisions the rural infrastructure investment alongside the economic restoration measures through the public-private partnership model. The next scheme is a Janashri Bima Yojana. It aims to deliver the group insurance package to Khadi artists. KVIC developed this policy in collaboration with the Life Insurance Corporation of India. The next scheme is the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So it is being executed by the National Skill Development Corporation. The goal of this skill is to encourage the youth to undertake the industry centered skill training that will help to secure a meaningful life. Next, Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. It mainly intends to provide the financial assistance to all those entrepreneurs who can demonstrate a concept, a prototype, a product testing, market research, market penetration, or commercialization. And it is a stage where the startup might it might attract the angel investors or the venture capitalist, and of course for the as well as the commercial banks and the financial institutions. Next scheme is the Government E-Marketplace, in short GEM. Entrepreneurs in far-flung rural locations are now permitted to focus on such schemes to government department and organizations, like to open up the Common Service Centers, E-Governance Services India. The Department of Posts included the Memorandum of Understanding so that it could be smoothly exchange of goods and services. Next is Pradhan Mantri Yuva. It aims to stimulate the entrepreneur intent by assisting the existing business in expanding and also leveraging the young businesses with mentorship in launching any sort of business by providing a conducive atmosphere through entrepreneurial training and education. This scheme has covered the pilot bases in Assam, Bihar, Kerala, Maharashtra, Meghalaya, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, UP, Uttarakhand, West Bengal, Delhi, and Pondicherry. The next scheme is the Market Promotion and Development Assistance Scheme, in short MPDA. Is a cohesive arrangement which integrates the multiple schemes undertaken by the khadi industry. For example, marketing and marketing development assistance In addition, grants and subsidies would be offered for the faculty of Khadi plazas. It aims to increase the income of artisans. Earlier, financial help was apportioned between the production entities, that is 30%, sales entities, that is 45%, while the amended MPDI plan allocated production entities now 40% and artisans 40%. The next section, the role of women entrepreneurship in rural India. As women owned, the rural enterprises give employment to 22 to 27 million people, and women entrepreneurs faces the barriers in order to access the formal credit, lack lack of tailored policy support for mid-scale growth, and of course it also missed the critical business development services like marketing, technology, and advisory. It tailored the financial product, sector specific programs, and integrate the support structure which are essential to empower the GOWE and enable their growth. So, recognizing and supporting the women's entrepreneurship, it also increases the job opportunities in rural areas, close the gender gaps in entrepreneurship, and move towards the long term economic growth. Rural women turns to their local self help group, that is in short SHG, to meet their credit needs as loan from formal financial institution. For inspiring the women entrepreneur are not easy to come by. So that's why the Bhai Amma may have set up a ceiling as the amount is too large for her SHG to sign off on. So, in fact, recognizing the importance of the woman entrepreneur, it aims to change and boost growth. And that's why the government of India has since 2018 launched a series of programs to support them. However, most policy initiatives encourage the first generation women entrepreneurs to establish their business, to enable micro, small, medium enterprises MSME that are classified as having the annual turnover above Indian rupees 50 million to scale up. There is also another venture like Bhai Amma that generate the annual revenues between the Indian rupees 3 lakh and Indian rupees 3 million, fall between two categories. This niche segment categorized the growth oriented women enterprises, which has a which has a potential to increase its operations and create more and more jobs. So there is a case study of women entrepreneurship. So Saroja Patil from Nitru village in Karnataka has explored organic items. In 2014, she enlisted a business under the name It's Tandwanam. The brand delivers a distinctive foodstuffs including banana flour, papad with ragi, rice, jowar, millets, and the vermicelli with rice, wheat, ragi, and so on. The businesswoman has pushed organic integrants throughout different locations such as Bombay, Ahmedabad, New Delhi, Chennai, and Karnataka. And with the support of the government and of course the financial institution, the enfranchisement of women has also come up throughout the Karnataka state. So this is how the women entrepreneurs has explored the organic items, and it runs throughout the maximum cities, and there is the one state where the maximum stores and production took place, that is Karnataka. The next section, what is business ethics? Business ethics refers the moral duty of the organization and its employees to show to its customer, to show the loyalty and honesty to to their customers, clients, and wider society. Ethics are the fundamental foundation or the framework of trust between the businesses and their key stakeholders. Business ethics also includes the various moral principles like honesty, integrity, confidentiality, which are fundamental rights to establish the trust between the businesses and the key stakeholders in India. So, to maintain ethics in the workplace, it is very important to promote the equal opportunities for all, report any conflicts of interest, and respect the workplace and colleagues. This is exercises that a particular employees or organization has to maintain at workplace with keeping the information or the sensitive information under hold. The next is, what is business ethics? There are many there are many definitions of business ethics, but the ones given by the Andrew Crane and the Raymond C. Bohart are considered the most appropriate ones. According to Crane, business ethics is a study of business situations, the activities, the decisions where issues of right and wrong are addressed. And Brahmhart defined the ethics of business as the ethics of responsibility. The businessman must promise that he will not harm the person with a known intention. Need and importance of business ethics. First, stop the business malpractices. Second, improve the customer confidence. It is termed as a survival of business. So where the business ethics needs to stop the unfair trade practices, charging the high pricing, adulteration, cheating in weights and measures. In case of improving the customer confidence, business ethics are needed to improve the customer confidence about the quality, utility, reliability, quantity, price, and packaging, and build up a confidence and trust in the businessmen who follow ethical business rules. Next is the survival of business. Business ethics are mandatory or compulsory for the survival of any business, and the businessman who does not follow it will only have a short-term success, and they will fail in the long run. Safeguarding the consumer rights. The consumer has many rights such as right to health and safety, right to be informed, right to choose and right to be heard, right to redress, right to be satisfied. Next, protecting employees and shareholders. Business ethics are required to provide the interest of employees, shareholders, competitors, dealers, suppliers, customers, and government. Next, it, it develops good relation. Business ethics are also equally important to develop a good relation with all the stakeholders of an organization. This will result a regular supply of a good quality products and services at low prices in the society. It creates a good image. It also helps a smooth functioning of the goods and services or business activities. It also helps to make a you can say to make a growth of the consumer movements which and all over the world. It also leads to a consumer satisfaction, as the consumer is the king of the market, so he can make a business or break a business immediately. Importance of labor that is employees, workers, or active staff play a very significant role in the success of the business. Next, healthy competition. Today, the competition is a part and the parcel of our life, and business world is an exception to this. So, competition is essential because it helps to work on creativity and innovation and competitive prices and affordable services and corporate responsibility. So this is how the business ethics followed in the various organization, and if the competitor is successful to his behavior and management of marketing skills, business tactics, consumer handling, that entrepreneur must be carefully studied. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening this lecture. I will come up to a more important, relevant in the upcoming topics in the upcoming session. So till time, thank you and namaste to all.